According to the National Center for Charitable Statistics, there are more than 1.5 million nonprofit organizations in the United States alone. Now let that sink in. 1.5 million organizations, all with different specific goals, but all with one common goal, and that's helping others. To help you visualize just how much 1.5 million is, this is the Cleveland Balloon Fest in 1986. This is 1.5 million balloons simultaneously being released. Again, another picture just to show how great of an amount 1.5 million is. Surprisingly enough though, even with all of these organizations, many people don't know exactly what nonprofit organizations are or what they do, or even how we can begin to become involved with them. This is something that more people need to become aware about because becoming involved with nonprofit organizations not only benefits you as an individual and the organization, it also benefits your community. I have been involved with nonprofit organizations since I was 16 years old. My senior year of high school, I was the vice president of a committee branch that combined 2 high schools to raise awareness for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. When all of our fundraising and activities were complete, we were successfully able to raise over $15,000 for MDA. I will first begin my speech by explaining exactly what nonprofit organizations are and what they do. Secondly, I will inform you about my personal experience with nonprofit organization MDA, along with some examples of ways to get involved. And lastly, how you can start getting involved with nonprofit organizations in your community today. To begin, I'm going to explain what nonprofit organizations are and just what exactly they do. Investopedia explains that a nonprofit organization is a business that is granted tax-exempt status by the IRS. These organizations must further a religious, charitable, scientific, literary, educational, public safety, amateur sport, or cruelty prevention purpose to qualify for a tax-exempt status. Most importantly though, they must also provide a public benefit. Some examples of nonprofit organizations can include schools, churches, or hospitals. Nonprofit organizations also use their surplus revenues to further achieve its purpose or mission, instead of distributing their surplus income to organizations' shareholders as profit. So, in other words, what this means is nonprofit organizations take their revenues and profits and they give them back to the community and organizations instead of giving it to people who work at the nonprofit. So now that you kind of have a general understanding of what nonprofit organizations are and what they do, allow me to explain my involvement with nonprofit organizations along with some possible ways you can get involved. Like I said earlier, when I was in high school, I really wanted to get involved with nonprofit organizations. What started this is when a family friend of mine passed away from Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I really wanted to become involved and make a difference. So I combined 2 high schools, along with the help of another team member, to raise money, awareness, and to put on fundraising activities to help MDA. Our first fundraiser was the volleyball. Oh, this is MDA. Our first fundraiser was the volleyball. This was an all-male volleyball competition where any players from any surrounding high school could compete in their own male teams and to see who the ultimate team was at the end. So how this worked was teams played to enter. They paid about $25 per player, and that guaranteed them 8 games, at least. That's not even including the championship and tournament games. We also had raffles at the event where people could pay $1 for raffle tickets. That was actually pretty successful. And people would also play to come watch the event because it was a lot of fun and it's nothing that any other high school did in the area. To promote this event and to promote all of the fundraising we were doing for MDA, we would pass out flyers to each school to help raise awareness. Our main event was the Fire and Ice Dance. This was a dance that anyone from any high school in the area could come to. They had to pay for a ticket. We also were able to get a local news station, KSPR, to come and broadcast the event to also help raise awareness in our community about what we were doing for the organization. In a combined effort with all of these fundraising activities, we were able to raise over $15,000. So we were really pleased about that and just had a great time, and it was a lot of fun. Now, these are just a few examples of ways you can get involved. I will now explain a few other things that you can do to get involved with nonprofit organizations in your community. You can volunteer your time. It can be from a couple minutes to a couple hours to a couple days. Just volunteering your time helps substantially. You can donate money, whether it's a small amount or a big amount. Donations are always welcomed. You can participate in any events that they're hosting. But the easiest way to know how you can get involved is to call that organization you're interested in and just ask them. They're always happy to have new members who are wanting to help them. As you can see, I am very passionate about nonprofit organizations and our involvement with our community. I was stunned to discover that there are over 1.5 million different organizations in the United States alone. I first explained what nonprofit organizations were and what they do. Then we talked about my personal experience with nonprofit organizations and MDA, and I also provided some examples of involvement. And lastly, we talked about more ways that one can get involved with nonprofits in their community. Becoming involved with nonprofit organizations is easy. It can range from a small donation to volunteering your time. All you have to do is call and ask. Thank you.